एनीवे बट विल लेट्स स्टार्ट। तो हम लोग बात करने वाले हैं कि रेस्टोरेंट हमने क्यों रूल आउट किया है एज एन इन्वेस्टमेंट। अभी रूल आउट नहीं किया, मतलब मुझे लगता है कि कुछ तरीका निकल आएगा। लेट्स ब्रेनस्टॉर्म आइडियाज, ठीक है ना। हम चाहते क्या हैं, पहले रेस्टोरेंट हम बात कर रहे हैं इंडियन ट्रेडिशनल रेस्टोरेंट की, ठीक है। दूसरा हम ये बात कर रहे हैं कि कोई और करे सारा, ठीक है। सो द नंबर्स आर रियली गुड, 100-125K का मिल जाएगा एंड प्रॉफिट विल बी टू द ट्यून ऑफ $25,000-30,000 मिनिमम। एंड अगर ऑन द अपसाइड 40-45 भी हो सकता है, 50-55 भी बड़े आराम से हो रहा है अगर केटरिंग भी कर रहा है बंदा। क्योंकि एक एक केटरिंग ऑर्डर दिवाली मतलब डेज में, मतलब एक एक दिन में 4-4 होते हैं, एक एक केटरिंग ऑर्डर पे $1,000 बचता है। तो आपका एक एक वीकेंड पे 4-4, 3-3, 4-4 हज़ार बचता है अगर यही दिया जाए तो इट्स अ लॉट ऑफ मनी, ठीक है ना। तो हमें जो नंबर मिला है कि मिला, आई नो सम रेस्टोरेंट्स हियर जो 1.2 मिलियन की सेल करते हैं, अराउंड उनका 600-700 के प्रॉफिट है। एंड अमूमन ही 1 मिलियन का जो प्रॉफिट है, 1 मिलियन वाला सेल वाला अराउंड 600 की कमा लेता है, प्रॉफिट हो जाता है। प्रॉफिट सारे खर्चे निकाल के, वेटर वोटर सब सैलरी, पानी, रॉ मटेरियल, सारा रॉ मटेरियल, बिजली पानी खर्चा, रेंट सब निकाल के। तो नंबर्स आर टू गुड टू बी ट्रू। True. I know that these are good numbers, and I know कि रेस्टोरेंट में काम भी होता है। अगर आप उसको देखें 16, अगर आप 16 घंटे उबर चलाते हैं, आपके 3 बंदे घर के, अच्छा घर का भी 1 या 2 बंदे लगना पड़ता है। So this is the owner operator mode. We don't want to do in owner operator mode. That's one thing. हम बात कर रहे हैं कि कोई और owner operator mode में काम करे। So there we have person who, there are 2 people who is a chef, the other one is a manager. So he knows how to manage the entire system of restaurant. Now having said this, अच्छा ये ले, having said this, इशू क्या है? इशू ये है कि फिर हम ये सारा कर रहे हैं कि देखो, अच्छा 120K की चीज आती है, उस पर 400K का प्रॉफिट है, ठीक है ना। तो इशू जो हम नाम लेंगे, कल को हमारे को दोस्त ने जो बताया, तो उसको भी सेम यही इशू आया था जो हम बात करने लगे। इशू ये आता है कि दैट अगर आप मैनेजर हायर करते हो तो लेता है वो $5,000 या $6,000 लेता है, या 7 ले लेता है, ठीक है, या टिपिकली 5,000 या $6,000 लेता है। मेरे आई नो वन गाय जो $28, $100 में भी काम कर रहा था मैनेजर, एज ए मैनेजर, ठीक है। मे भी उसको 3500 दे दिए, 4,000 दे दिया। उसके बाद क्या है कि उसकी स्लो ग्रोथ चलती रहती है। लेकिन अगर आप उसको पार्टनर बना लेते हो, अच्छा ये पहली चीज है, उसको मैनेजर हायर कर लो, तो यू ओन द रेस्टोरेंट, यू बिलीव दैट द मैनेजर विल रन इट। सो मेरे फ्रेंड ने, एक बड़े अच्छे फ्रेंड ने दिया सलाह, कहता चाहे जो ये मत करना, he will be just a very stubborn employee, that's it, nothing more than that, and it will be a very difficult thing for you to manage. Unless until he has a partnership in it, you cannot survive. So that big idea is out of the way. We cannot simply buy a restaurant, give it to a manager and a chef. It will be a suicide. He said it will be a very big suicide. The day he will start getting problems and blah blah blah. Now we come to the another idea. Instead of hiring him as a manager, we hire him as a partner. So we make him a partner. Now partnership ideas are also there. So the guy said that, so yesterday, so that one was like, his name was, let's say, P Singh, this one is D Singh. So P Singh and right, so D Singh said, so yesterday we met with D Singh, right? So D said that don't do it won't work even in partnership. Why? Because that partner starts making a lot of money. Let's say he starts making, let's say total profit 30,000, starts making 15,000. And he also realizes that he can, within 6 months, he can buy a restaurant. So he says, either I'll buy the restaurant next door, or you just give me this restaurant. Because if I don't stop working, then what will you do with the restaurant? Makes sense. And this happens within 6 months. If this happens in 4 years, once, after 3 years, we can start to look for someone. In any business, this is a good idea, right? If someone can spend 5 years and run your business for that, then this is pretty running business. You can keep hiring new person after 4 years. Every 6 months, it's not possible. So this is an important consideration also, right? When you are analyzing a business model or something, you need to see that we need to have someone who, as a manager, who's to sustain it for at least 4-5 years, and then even selling that off is also useful. So 6 months is just too small a churn. So we are not going to brainstorm ideas how to do it this way that his share is there, at the same time he's buying back the share in 2-3 years. Right. So even mass wise, let's say, you say that, so let's say you say that restaurant is for 125, but now the value is 250K, and you start giving me double the amount and buy it back. He will himself do the math, is that in 4 months, he will see that he can buy another one in 4 months. So why should he buy from you? Right. You see?
Makes sense, yeah.
Makes sense. So another thing, it's a mathematical calculation. Let's say he buys a restaurant. How much is the carrying cost? How much time does it take to start a restaurant? Take it to
Get all those approvals, get the loan approved, or
that's a new restaurant.
That's a new restaurant.
If he, let's say, we are gonna buy a running restaurant, right? But still there will be carrying cost because it's a Brazilian restaurant or it's a Thai restaurant. It could be converting to Indian restaurant. So having said this, there will be a bit of a carrying cost before we get the proper footfall. So now the point is, if you so let's say 6 months, so you can put that cost down, and that will be his barrier to entry. So we are analyzing his barrier to entry, right? So his barrier to entry will be something, and then we need to see ki this is his barrier to entry. That is our thing. If the barrier to entry is like, let's say, $20 million, he will never be able to. If it is $500,000, it's right there in the gray area. If it's just 200K, 125 plus 75K,
just buy it.
He'll again just think of buying. So we need to know the total cost of starting a restaurant is 125 plus 75K or something. So this is one thing we need to come out. We need to understand that barrier to entry is defined by carrying cost also. Both the things together. Now coming, the problem is, still the problem is not gone. Problem is not gone because he can make a profit of 20-30K and he can immediately. I think we can now, one of the solutions I'm thinking is, if we can put a clause
that he non-compete agreement, or like he can't buy another restaurant in the same region, or like he can't leave us for 1 year maybe.
Something like that. So non-compete is a great solution. We can think in terms of a non-compete that he can start his own restaurant or something.
Right.
But then we cannot stop partners from doing that. We can ask employees to do that. If you hire him as an employee, then that's a different thing. When you hire him as a partner, now I'm coming to the next one. Let's say we think of as a partnership structure where he keeps, where he has to buy. In the beginning itself, we say that he has to buy. We can give him the entry. His thing is he's very motivated right now because he just has to cover $15,000-$20,000. So that's what Mr. P said before, that you have to ask him to put $20,000 on the table, otherwise just don't go for it. He puts 20,000 on the table, I put 100,000 on the table, and maybe another 75K as a carrying cost on the table. By the way, in this, he said one of the important principles is, I said he should be 50-50. I said no, he cannot pay 50. He said, what can he pay comfortably? I said 10K. He said, ask him to put 12K, 15K. So whatever he can pay, put comfortably, ask him to put maybe 1.5 times. Basically, it should be big amount for him. So that's the general principle of hiring a person who's going to run the entire show. He has to be a partner and he should be paying at least that much, which is too much for him. Chalo, having said this, now coming at our discussion, so we took care of that. Doorbell rang?
Yeah.
Let it keep running. I'll quickly go and check. Okay. Chachi did not go?
I guess.
Oh. Hello? iPhone 15 Pro Max है.
Yeah.
चलो, let's go inside first. रख गया, मुझे था लेके ना चले जाए. मेरे तो में ये था कि छोड़ने लेके चला गया. हाँ, मैं दूसरा नहीं बनाना चाहता. कट करना बड़ा आसान होता है यूट्यूब एडिटर से. ये बाद में करते, पहले अपनी बात कंप्लीट कर लेते हैं. आईफोन 15 प्रो मैक्स आ गए. 4 है ना?
हाँ जी.
2 उधर पड़े. सही है. काटा लग गया? हाँ, काटा लग गया. ये पता कहाँ डाल दे?
डस्टबिन.
कप में भी डाल सकता है. हाँ, कप में डाल दे, जैसे फेंक दे.
डस्टबिन.
So what happens is, so that trick we have to use. That thing we have to use. It's a trick, it's a technique, it's a management problem. 20,000 तो हमें टेबल पे चाहिए, नहीं तो उसका कभी इंटरेस्ट नहीं बनेगा. वो पहले दिन से एम्प्लॉय हो गए. अब ये कि वो 20,000 आ गए, पैसे भी उसके पास आएंगे, 20% आएंगे, 30% उसके पार्टनरशिप पे पैसे आएंगे. He'll be getting manager's salary as well as this money, he'll be very soon able to buy this thing.
By this.
And he may start accosting his, even if he doesn't have the money, he should know that. He can start telling his friends and this thing, give me a loan.
Give me a loan so that I can buy it back from you.
So what we can do is, we can, मेरे पास एक आइडिया था कि we ask him to buy back the restaurant every month. He has to buy.
Buy back. Or can't we do it like a venture, like we can act as a venture capital firm. We are investing 80%, 20% is yours, and we'll exit when, you know, the valuation of restaurant reaches this much, or, you know, when
That's
we get back this much money, the restaurant would be yours. So we have to make
So
sure
that's
right
what-
from the beginning that we
within-
will exit, and
so-
this is our exit point.
Sure. Let's say we say that once our money becomes triple, we'll exit. And
Yeah.
he should start buying from the day one at 3 times the price. See, that's the thing. How will you enforce this? Because within 2 months, he will know that he can start asking his friends, hey, give me more money. And then he'll be like, he'll take money from them and then and he will think of buying another restaurant. He will not be ready to pay even 20% more if he will think like this. Why should I pay thrice when I can buy the next two restaurant for half the price? You have to stop him from doing that.
But in this case, since we are investing into him, so we can have some agreement and clause,
We can.
because he's not a partner now, right?
Uh-huh.
We can say this is your venture, right? You are bringing 20% onto the table, right? We are just your investors, like a venture capital, and this is our exit point.
Yeah, we can tell him, like, he will not. Basically, his mindset will be, if the restaurants were 125 plus 75K, then I am not interested in paying for 400K. When will he have this mindset, or 600K for the same restaurant? When will he have this mindset? In my opinion, after 3 months, once he starts running the whole show, he will know he's making money, everything will be proven to him. He will start to think of exiting without paying that fee. He would know that we bought it for 200K. So he'll start to figure out ways to do it for 200K. I'm pretty sure he'll start to figure out. Right, there is his issue. That's where the issue is.
Where the issue is, because in other ventures, like if you think about, let us suppose there's a startup, you are investing into that startup, that person will make sure that it's successful, you know, like the venture capitalists get back their money, and then he gives it to private equity firm, or, you know, releases an IPO. Because in that case the idea is quite niche or something, like there's barrier to entry, like he can't create another product same. He has a customer base, he has that idea, and since we have invested in that idea, we have that intellectual property rights and all those things. But in this restaurant business, like I can't have an intellectual
There
property
is
right
no
on
intellectual property right.
nothing.
There is no barrier to entry. He can get the same customers. He can open next door. He can do whatever he wants. All these things are there for him. So we cannot stop him from doing any of these things. And last but not the least, like basically there is in restaurant is making $60,000 a month. At the time of exit that we are targeting, when we are exiting or when he's there, the startup will not be making any money at all. He knows that if he tries to start up on his own, he can never break even. The whole idea is something else, and that's the value addition we have, and that's our thing in our hand.
In our hand, right?
In this restaurant business, after 2 months, there is nothing in our hand. We'll be simply giving money till that point.
Agree.
And we might be in a position where he says, if I give you your own money back, you're in a good shape.
Yeah.
Even that would be a great favor from him,
Right.
that he can give all of our money back to us.
Right.
Otherwise, if he's a problematic guy, he might say, I will buy another restaurant. Why should I buy this? This is your restaurant, keep it. You will say, you have 20%, you bought 20,000, I keep that also. Because he knows that he can buy a lot more. He can pay. ये उसको exit करने से कैसे रोकना ना? This is a very big deal.
Big deal.
So because of this, we cannot. This is a problem he faced, right? Once we took all the risk, everything we did, and after that, once it starts running, then he says, okay, I don't need you guys. That's a very big problem.
So it can be said restaurant business is only successful, not only successful, but generally successful if you yourself are standing in the kitchen, you yourself are operating it as a sole business. But you can't scale
Not in
it.
the kitchen, but if you're manager also.
Your manager also, yeah. But you are like there.
In general, this is the way. So they will start to exit. I know that. He will start to exit.
He'll start
thinking of exiting without paying us double, triple amount. He will try to think of ways to exit, make us exit by just paying us the same thing, which is what happened with D Singh yesterday, who talked to, right? D Singh.
Sorry, quick question. Like, as you said, like the revenue is 1 million, example, and the profit would be 600k maybe. But still, if I have to buy the restaurant, that would cost me around 200k. Why is that? Why is it so cheap? Shouldn't it be?
So restaurant has no inherent value. There is a video I made long time back. Restaurant has no inherent value because the processes are not streamlined. It's like driving a taxi. I drive a taxi and let's say I drive 16 hours a day, and then 16 hours a day, but and then I'm making, let's say in Uber, like I'm making 16,000 a month. So then the value of taxi is not 16,000 a month. It's me who has to drive it.
That
Restaurant is like that.
So can we consider like owning a restaurant can be compared to a job? I mean,
Yes, it is
if
like
you
a
are
job.
working, you are getting a paycheck.
It is
If you
like,
are not working, it doesn't have
yes,
any inherent value.
yes, it's like a job.
And then it's like a
Restaurant
job.
is like a taxi is like a job. Truck is like a job. You say I have two trucks, but you're driving one truck. That's your full time job.
Yeah.
One person, I'm running a clinic. I'm a businessman. No, you're not a businessman.
If you are actually working, it's a job.
It's a
I mean,
job.
like you can do any other thing, you'll get your paycheck by the end of the month.
You'll
So
get
if
a
it
little bit
doesn't
more
have any
money.
inherent value, you
You get,
can't sell it at maybe 1x, 2x, or like any number.
yeah,
Then what is the value addition that you have done over 5 years? Nothing.
yeah,
You just worked, you got your paychecks, and that's it.
yes.
At the end of the day, we are
So
still here.
that's the reason I say that when a person is working in a restaurant or working riding a taxi for someone, riding someone else's truck, driving someone else's truck, or working someone's clinic, in any of these cases, they should immediately start to open their own clinic, have their own truck, have their own taxi, or have their own restaurant. They should do that. They should never ever not do that, because you do the same amount of work by little financial here, by little taking a little, there's a bit of a risk here, you can make double that amount. So this is the very big thing. If a person has been here for like many years, then he should have his own restaurant. We are talking about a person who's been here very recently, right?
Right.
So it's a win-win for him.
Yeah.
In another 3 years, if he does this thing, he has his own restaurant. That makes a lot of sense. But the problem is, it will happen in 3 months, not in 3 years.
In case of restaurants.
In case of restaurant, because he knows that barrier to entry is taken care of. Everybody has a bit of a thing of the business, like some kind of inhibition. They feel that, oh, running a business is a big deal. But once he runs it for 3 months, he will know that he can do it. He can replicate the entire thing. Who would have taken the risk till that point? Us. So that's the thing. We are pretty much training him in management of the restaurant without
getting anything in return.
You will get nothing in return. So this is where the big issue is, and that's the reason we cannot run restaurant like a passive business. We shouldn't try to do that, because if we have to go there once in a month, also that's too much for us. Twice a month, also that's too much for us. Yeah. By the way, it's a 16-hour operation. So in the morning you get the deliveries in the.
You have to chop onions.
You have to chop 11 o'clock restaurant opens. 9 o'clock the kitchen people come. Kitchen staff comes and starts making the food. They start making the food and prepare for the lunch. Then 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock they close down the shutters, and around 5 o'clock they have to open. They again start working they are working behind the scenes in the kitchen, preparing all the stuff. 5 o'clock the restaurant opens again till 10 o'clock.
They have to do the same thing.
Yeah. It's a 16-hour duty. So manager has to be there 16 hours a day. And 7 days or 6 days a week. Saturday, Sunday also gone. So it's when you're making $50,000 or $40,000 a month, is for your labor as a manager. Manager भी तो काम है ना. So वो as a manager जो सब कर रहे हैं उसका पैसा है वो.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And you cannot leave your restaurant unattended. You wanna go to Hawaii? You cannot. You don't have any vacation. You don't have anything. So restaurant is a pretty binding business. Only thing is, as I said, manager is ready. The manager that I've found is very motivated. I know he's very hardworking also. So the problem is he has a bit of a barrier of entry. The very act will remove that barrier of entry, and it will be a problem. He will not, after that, he will not work, in my opinion. That's what D said, right? I knew this problem. I put the maths together that he makes so much money. He can buy a restaurant practically in 6 months. Why would he not do that? What we need to do is, whatever he buys, I'm thinking of making it a sweet deal. Like, he should pay back the entire amount, let's say, he has to pay back this much money or something. As you said, like few things like this. Non-compete also. We can have a non-compete. That's one idea. Second one is he has to buy back the entire amount, so that our risk becomes zero.
Yes, becomes zero.
Right?
Right.
He has to pay us back the entire amount within a 6 months, 7 months period. Just that the restaurant starts running, he has to first pay us the entire amount.
Hmm.
So that our risk right after that is zero. And then after that, we make some residual income. Maybe $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, like that. Just pays us a royalty.
Yeah.
That is why would he be interested in paying the royalty? I know, but that I can tell you one thing, that he has paid us the entire amount.
Yes, better. But can't we introduce such a clause? Okay, so your restaurant is in this area. Primarily, what happens? You open a restaurant, you get a word of mouth. This is a good Indian restaurant right here, right? So it is a region, maybe 2-3 miles around, as a circle. So can we say that okay, if you want to buy a new restaurant, it shouldn't be in this region within this radius?
So doctors do that. Doctors do that.
Hotels
Dentists
do that. Like
yeah, but in restaurant business, even if you do that, yeah, this will work. This will work. But trust me, he'll buy somewhere else. He's not a doctor who has a great life, like 2 kids and a big house and all that. He can easily move. One of my doctor friends is in similar this thing with the clinic. She can run her own clinic, but she has to be about 50 miles away from 50 mile
50
radius.
miles away.
So Sacramento is very big. We thought of opening her clinic. She's my friend. We thought of opening her clinic in the other part of the world. Yeah, like where she can keep living in the same place. For her, it was a big deal that she can keep living in the same place.
Yes, but not for like a person who has just came from India or somewhere else and he's starting off his life. Okay, he can find and make new connections in a new city.
Yeah, when you hire engineers in CTS, TCS, Satyam, right? You don't know. You're buying people who have already spent 4 years of college, who have shown some commitment to this life. A person who's just come here, who has no commitment to this life, a good life, he would be ready to dupe. If he's given a chance to go to Florida, he'll just immediately go there. He'll start to look for those places where he doesn't have to spend $100,000.
Agree.
So I think he'll find ways. But that was a good thought. Non-compete, all these things combined, maybe it will work. But then we have to know a lot about accident. I think we need to meet with them now, Mr. P, the
Mr.
old
P.
guy. It's 10 days before. I want to meet with him and find out how can we contain the energy of this person, because we are really adding a lot of value. Otherwise, he's making only $3,500 a month. He will never be able to save in, and he spends about $1,500 on his job, and that is a living expense.
Living
He
expense.
saves $2,000. It will be another how much time? 8 years before he can buy. And I can clearly see that will be a very big problem, because he will be married, kids, all these things. He will not be able to then. So and then he will be able to start a restaurant. That's not a big deal. So I'm trying to tell him that he knows it's a big deal for us to buy and help him buy the restaurant and invest in his restaurant. The only problem is this problem that we are discussing.
But one more idea. So, like in Indian cuisine, we can think of it like this: if the chef is good, the restaurant's gonna work. But in other cuisines where we don't have to actually, like half of the stuff is ready-made. It's just mixing and like McDonald's or all those franchising models, but not those models like a restaurant, some different cuisine. So can't we have okay, we are gonna own this restaurant for 1 year. We are gonna have this person. After 1 year, we know he has made a lot of money. He might exit and go somewhere else, and keep on replacing a new manager every year. Would that be sustainable?
Nah,
No?
because hiring a manager or hiring a new chef is a lot of work.
Yeah, that is what I said. Like even if there's not a lot of skill required in making that food. So in that case, can we do that? Like for any new
So
person that is coming, we are just giving him
yes, so then
opportunity.
the margins are not like that. If the
Okay.
skill is like Mongolian grill has very little requirement. First of all, we have to find a Mongolian chef. Okay, even if we find a Mongolian chef, the margins will not be that much. He may be making only 5-7K a month. Then we're simply making total revenue is 20,000. 12,000 is going in rents and all those things. And then $6,000-7,000 is what we are saving. So you remember now we are working as owner manager. We are the manager.
We are the manager.
That's not possible. We cannot actively manage it. Other things are, manager does all the catering work. When they get the order, manager drops the
Boxes,
food and boxes, yeah, the trays, food trays and all that.
everything.
It's not possible for us to do that. The manager does a lot of work. And by the way, when I say manager, he's coming with a chef. Ideally, chef and manager, like chef is the real engine. So if the chef is bad, so manager and chef should go, they typically go hand in hand and they'll be friends, because they'll be working together, right?
Together, yeah.
So they'll be figuring out ways to In my opinion, this is big deal. And that's the reason you won't see many people. You will be seeing many people. This is one reason, because this is security of my money. Investor is not interested. People have a lot of 100, 2,000 is not a big deal for anybody. Only thing is their money is not secure. So I will tell you once you start diving into it, you will start to realize that there are so many rules which act against the person who is taking the investment. So because of which investor doesn't invest in that. And then people stay in this zone for 6-7 years. They keep working in the restaurant for 6-7 years. I know a guy, he's 36 years old, has been here for 6 years, still doesn't own a restaurant. Why? Because nobody was interested in investing. People feel that their investment is not secure. If government says, if the person is investing, the other person, the person who's working there, he cannot leave for, let's say, 3 years.
3 years.
He has to make sure he gives double the amount. Upfront we can get it written that he has to pay us double the amount. Right? And government ensures that that happens. For 3 times, you will see all these guys will immediately get the investment. Actually, same in consulting business also.
Yeah.
All the, people ask me why there are so many green card holders and citizens on the road working in Starbucks, this and that. Because if you place them, give them a job, I get people jobs, right? They will dupe you. They will cheat you. Right? In that there is no investment also. So they'll simply just cheat you. If government makes a rule, if green card holder gets a job because of someone, he has to pay what he committed. Then trust me, all the green card holders on the road will be in jobs. IT jobs. All the green card holders. Same thing happens everywhere. Investor is not secure, safeguarded.
Investor wants a secure investment. That's why, even if it's intellectual investment, monetary investment, or whatever, right?
Government doesn't secure it. So, in case of real estate agents, government secures their rights. They have to pay 6%. The buyer and seller has to pay 6%, and that will take care of buyer's agent as well. You see? Something like that. If green card holder, he has for 1 year he has to pay 6% of his salary to the investor, the person who invested in him. This business, every citizen will get an IT job. Nobody will be working Starbucks.
That's why people who are on visas are actually working in the IT jobs, because there is a liability associated, and there's
so investor is interested in
working
with them. And so that's the reason, many green card holder citizens, they look at all these people coming from India and they say they have IT job. He doesn't even speak proper English. I speak such a good English. Why don't I have the same job? Well, bloody hell, because you are a duper. You will cheat. That's the reason investor is not interested in investing in you. Nobody is interested in investing in you. I can always ask a company, hey, I'm ready to invest in this, but how is my investment secure? How will I get my, investment is just $10,000. The person will start to make, instead of $14 an hour, he can start making $70 an hour. Right. But nobody's interested in doing investment in him. Right? I can say, I'm ready to invest $10,000. Just give me like $50,000 back. It's a simple thing. He will make almost $100,000 more even now in the first year itself. 120,000 more, so maybe he'll make 60,000 in the first year, and then after that he'll make $120,000. But the investor's investment is not secure.
Right.
So if everybody can figure out a way to, that's how Telugus work, right? The investor's money is secure. They secure it.
They secure it, right?
Yeah. In any business, in any thing, if investors' money can be secured. So government has made many laws in the name of safeguarding this, that, someone else. I don't know who they are safeguarding, but they'll make some laws in the name of safeguarding something. But because of that, it doesn't remain investor friendly now. That's the reason it doesn't attract. Oh, I'll tell you one more thing. If a person is in India, he is making, let's say, 20 lakhs a year. If he comes here, he starts making 1 CR a year. Easy. 120K is, right? Maybe even more. Minimum, right?
Minimum.
He can start making 140, 150K also. But investor is not interested in bringing him here.
Because he's doing the same work in India for 20 lakhs.
Yeah, but then because government says if you investors, how people so people who want to come here, they have to come out with their own money. Why they can't attract an investor? Investor says, okay, I'll give you 20 lakhs. Once you come here, you pay me 3 times or 4 times more money, which he would. Problem is he cannot secure this investment through a legal way. and that's why people will stay in India. Otherwise, all these guys who are making so much money, everybody's making money. All bases who have been here for 20 years are making so much money, they don't know where to do with it.
Invest, right?
They don't know what to do with it. But their investment is not secure, so they will not invest in these things. They will invest in stock market, this, that, but they won't invest in like getting a person here. If you get a person here, you can easily make a lot of money for them. But there is no contract that they can sign. Hey, I'm paying 20,000 to you. You give me $80,000 back. If they create an instrument like this, so you see, Gujaratis are why they are prospering, because they help each other. We call it help. There is no need of help in this country. If investors, general investors will come and will compete with each other, and they'll try to get as many people from India as possible because they'll get 4 times more money. Trust me, the entire India will be vacant and all of America will be full of people. All the investment will be done by them. But investors' money is not secure. So that's the reason I thought of all this scheme, right? That okay, if I get you guys here, it's easy. I mean, so that's why people do it in family. They do it for each other, but they don't do it for general purpose.
For general public, right?
Yeah. Gujarati is also same thing. They do it for family and all, right? Remember, we founded a way that investor visa can be gotten by spending very little money. Same thing. They will not tell it to you because they want to, let's say they want to run it like a business, whatever they spend and things like that, and they make 4 times more money. It's not possible for them to create any agreement or something like that with which they can secure their investment. So that's the reason nobody is interested in doing that. Yep. So restaurant business भी वहीं आके रुका है, where our investment is not secure. We don't know whether we'll get 4 times more money or we'll get even the same money back or not. After spending so much money, energy and everything,
you still don't know.
We still don't know. चलो ठीक है फिर guys. Okay.